The night was quiet, but the forest near the village of Kathaka was not safe. People said a cursed kingdom slept there, the kingdom of the snake tomb. No man went near it. The elders told stories. Those who enter the dark cave never return. A spirit lives there, with eyes of gold and a heart of poison. Kato, a young farmer, knew these stories since he was a boy. He lived a hard life, poor and hungry, working every day under the sun. His mother was sick. Small farm gave little. Food sometimes, he prayed. God, help me find a way. That night, Kato walked alone into the forest. The moon hid behind clouds. He carried a small basket, looking for wild herbs for his mother. His feet made no sound on the dry leaves. The wind blew cold. Suddenly he heard something strange, a voice. It was soft, sweet, and sad. A woman's voice. Kato stopped. His heart beat fast. Who could sing in this cursed forest? He hid behind a tree and listened. The song floated through the trees like smoke. The words were not clear, but the voice was beautiful. It called him like water calling a thirsty man. He followed the sound step by step deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller, and the air turned heavy. He reached a place no villager dared to go, the land of the snake tomb. There it was, a dark cave in the side of a hill. The voice came from inside. Kato's breath caught in his throat. He wanted to run, but something stronger pulled him forward. He walked slowly, his hands shaking. He stepped inside the cave. Darkness swallowed him. The cave smelled of earth and old bones. Water dripped from the rocks. He saw nothing, only black walls and the cold floor. The voice. The voice was clear now. Then he saw her. A girl stood in the shadows. Her skin was dark like the night sky. Her hair flowed like a river. And her eyes, they shone like gold. Bright, glowing like fire in the dark. Kato could not move. He could not breathe. The girl looked at him. Her face was sad and her voice shook when she spoke. "Why have you come here, human?" Kato opened his mouth, but no words came. He looked down and his blood froze. A snake was coiled around her waist like a belt. Its head rested on her shoulder, its tongue flicking out. The girl lifted her hand slowly and touched the snake's head, like a mother calming a child. "Go," she whispered, "before it is too late." Her golden eyes glowed brighter. For a moment, the cave lit up, and Kato saw strange marks on the walls, symbols of snakes, bones, and crowns. This was no ordinary cave. Fear burned inside him, but so did something else, a strange feeling, like a dream. He wanted to know who she was, why she was here, why her eyes were golden like the sun. He stepped closer and whispered, "Who are you?" The girl turned away. Her voice broke like a cry. "I am no one, and if you love your life, never come back." Then darkness. The light in her eyes faded. The cave was empty. Kato ran out, his heart beating like a drum. But her image stayed. In his mind, the girl with golden eyes, the snake on her waist, and her sad voice. That night he could not sleep. The elder's warning echoed in his ears. If the golden eyes wake, the tomb will open, and blood will fall. Kato whispered. To himself, I must see her again. The night after Kato saw the girl, he could not eat, could not sleep. He sat by the fire, staring at the wall, hearing her voice again and again. "Go, before it is too late." But his heart was louder than his fear. It whispered, "Find her. Know her name." Before sunrise, Kato left his hut. He walked past the farms, past the river, into the thick forest again. The elder's words followed him like ghosts. The snake tomb is cursed. A spirit waits there, and her love is death. Still, Kato did not stop. His feet moved like they knew the way. Soon he stood before the dark cave once more. The same cold wind touched his face. The same silence. Will she come? He thought. Kato took a deep breath and stepped inside. Cave was darker than before. He waited, his ears sharp. At first, there was nothing. No sound, no light, only the smell of earth. Then he heard it, a whisper. A soft breath behind him. Kato turned on, saw golden eyes glowing in the dark. She was there, the same girl. Her face was calm, but her eyes, they held both pain and fire. You came back, she said softly. Yes, Kato whispered. I had to. Why? Her voice was like wind through dry leaves. Because I need to know you. The girl looked down. Snake around her waist moved slowly, its tongue flicking in the air. You should fear me, she said. I am not like you. I do not. Fear you, Kato said. His voice was firm now. Tell me your name. The girl closed her eyes for a long moment. Then she spoke. My name is Nyoka. Kato repeated it like a prayer. Nyoka. She turned away and walked deeper into the cave. Kato followed. His heart pounded, but his legs did not stop. They came to a place where the cave opened into a wide hall. Strange carvings covered the walls, snakes with crowns, men kneeling, eyes of gold painted on stone. This is my prison, Nyoka said, her voice breaking. Prison. She nodded. Her hand touched the snake at her waist. Long ago, I loved a man. I broke the law of my kingdom, the Snake Kingdom. My father, the Snake King, cursed me. He bound me to this cave, half human, half serpent, forever alone. Her golden eyes shone brighter, and for a moment Kato saw her tears. No one comes here, she whispered. They fear the curse, and they are right. If you stay too long, you will die. Kato felt fear creep into his bones, but he also felt something stronger, love. He stepped closer. Then let the curse kill me. I will not leave you. Nyoka stared at him in shock. Why would you risk your life? Because I cannot forget you, Kato said. Because your eyes, they call me. For the first time, a small smile touched her lips. But it faded quickly. She shook her head. You do not understand. If the Snake King knows love has woken again, he will rise from the tomb. His anger will burn the land. Before Kaito could answer, the ground trembled. A deep sound filled the cave like a drum, like thunder. Stones fell from the ceiling. The snake around Nyoka hissed loudly. Her face turned white with fear. No, it is too late. Kato looked around, his heart racing. What is happening? Nyoka's golden eyes blazed like fire. Her voice shook. The Snake King. He knows. You are here. The cave roared with a sound like 1,000 serpents. Shadows moved on the walls. From deep inside the darkness came a voice cold and full of rage. Who dares wake the golden eyes? Nyoka grabbed Kato's hand. Her touch was warm, trembling. Run, she cried. But Kato did not run. Kay held her hand tight. And in that moment, he knew this was only the beginning. The cave shook like the earth was angry. Dust fell from the roof. Cracks opened in the walls. The deep voice came again, louder than thunder. Who dares wake the golden EYEs? Kato held Nyoka's hand tight. His heart pounded like a drum. But he did not let go. From the darkness, a shape began to move. Huge, long, heavy, like a mountain snake. 2 giant golden eyes burned in the blackness. They were brighter than the sun and filled with hate. Nyoka whispered, her voice shaking. It is him, the Snake King. The monster came closer. Its body was covered in black scales, like iron. Its head was bigger than a hut. A crown of bones sat on its head. Its tongue shot out like fire. Father, Nyoka whispered in fear. The Snake King roared, and the sound broke the silence like a storm. Traitor, you loved a man once, and now, again, you break my law. His tail crashed against the cave floor. Rocks exploded. The carvings of snakes broke into pieces. The air smelled like blood and poison. Kato pulled Nyoka behind a stone, but the Snake King saw them. His voice was full of rage. You, mortal, you dare touch what is mine. Legs shook, but his voice was strong. I am not afraid of you." The Snake King laughed. It was a sound like death. "Then you shall die with her." The giant snake moved fast, his fangs dripped with poison. Kato grabbed a broken spear from the floor. He stood in front of Nyoka, ready to fight, though his hands trembled. Nyoka screamed, "You cannot kill him. He is immortal." The Snake King struck. Kato jumped aside. The ground split where the fangs hit. Poison burned the stones. Kato turned to Nyoka. "Tell me, how do I break this curse?" Nyoka's eyes filled with tears. Her voice was weak. "There is only one way, but it will kill you. Tell me." Kato shouted as the Snake King moved closer, his body coiling like a storm. Nyoka whispered, "You must kiss me in front of him. If love is true, his power will die, but so will your life." Kato froze. A kiss. A choice between his life and hers. He looked at her golden eyes glowing like fire. He remembered her voice, her pain, her smile. The Snake King roared again, his giant head ready to strike. Kato threw away the spear. He ran to Nyoka. He held her face in his hands and said, "If I die in truth. I will not fear love." Nyoka cried, "No." But it was too late. Kato kissed her. The cave exploded with light. Golden fire burst from Nyoka's eyes and flowed through her body like a river. The Snake King screamed, his voice shaking the earth. His scales cracked. His crown broke. He twisted and turned, but the fire burned him to dust. The cave walls fell silent. The earth stopped shaking. The golden light wrapped around Kato and Nyoka like a blanket. Nyoka's scales melted away. The snake around her waist vanished. She was human again, her skin shining with tears. But Kato, it fell to the ground. Still, Nyoka knelt beside him. She touched his face. "No, please, no." Her tears fell on his lips. The golden fire began to fade. The last piece of light moved from her eyes into his heart. Kato opened his eyes slowly. "Nyoka," he whispered. She held him and cried with joy. Far away, the villagers saw light in the forest that night, a light, like the sun breaking inside the earth. The curse was broken, but the story had only just begun. The cave was silent now. The great roar of the Snake King was gone. His giant body had turned to dust. Only golden sparks floated in the dark like tiny stars. Nyoka held Kato close to her chest. She could feel his breath, weak but alive. Tears touched his face as she whispered, "You came back to me?" Kaito smiled faintly. "I told you, I would never leave you." Nyoka's golden eyes were softer now. They no longer burned with pain. They shone like warm sunlight. She helped Kato stand. Around them, the cave walls glowed with a strange light. The old carvings of snakes began to fade. The prison was breaking. Nyoka looked up and spoke softly, almost like a prayer. "The curse is over. The Snake King is gone." But then the ground shook again. A deep sound came from far inside the earth. Ka froze. "No, this is not the end." Kato held her hand tight. "What do you mean?" Snake King was powerful. Nyoka said in fear, but he was not alone. His brothers sleep in other tombs. When one tomb falls, the others wake. The earth groaned louder, like something turning in its sleep. Shadows moved along the cave walls. Far away, faint voices hissed like angry serpents. Kato looked into Nyoka's golden eyes. "Then we will fight together." Nyoka stared at him, tears shining on her cheeks. "You risked your life for me. You gave everything. Why?" Kato smiled weakly. "Because I found something stronger than fear." For the first time, Nyoka laughed a soft, broken laugh. She touched his face gently and whispered, "Then I will never leave you." They walked out of the cave together. The forest outside was silent under a silver moon, but something had changed. The wind carried whispers like voices speaking in. a language of snakes. The trees seemed to watch. Kato and Nyoka stopped at the edge of the forest. The village lights glowed far away. For a moment, everything felt peaceful. Nyoka closed her eyes and breathed the free air for the first time in 4 years. Then they heard the sound of drums in the distance. But these were not the drums of the village. These were deeper, older, a sound like heartbeats in the earth. Nyoka's hand tightened in Kato's. Her voice was low and full of fear. The other tombs, they know. Kato looked at her, his face calm but strong. Let them come. We will not run. The moon shone bright, lighting the path before them. They began to walk toward the village, toward the world that would never believe their story. Behind them, the dark cave glowed faintly, for the last time, and then sank into the earth. But deep under the ground, far beyond the forest, something stirred. More eyes opened, eyes of fire, hundreds of them. And a voice whispered in the dark, "The golden eyes have woken, and the war will begin." The night swallowed the sound, but the earth heard it. Kato and Nyoka held hands and walked on, their hearts beating together. They did not know what waited ahead, but they knew one thing: love had broken the curse. And love would fight again.